Alright, welcome back for lesson 4. This is our last breakdown. It is the up pose. And let's go ahead and take a look at what that's going to look like out here on our reference material. So the up pose, the character is on almost its toes right here, so the ball of the foot, leg is straight. It's pushing off and it's in the highest position. The arms are beginning to change positions now and swing in the opposite direction. And then we can see the foot here that was in the crossing position is now beginning to lead. Okay, let's go ahead and close that out and head over here and start posing out our character. So we're going to come down here to frame 13 and start off with moving our character up. So I'm going to get him up here on his toes, and I'm going to take this foot here and push it back. I'm going to come over here to the heel ball, middle mouse, and push it down into the ground. Okay, so our character doesn't actually have a toe control on here. It's got sort of the front of the foot and the back of the foot with the split in the middle here. So we can't quite get that pose that we would if the character actually had a rig for the toes. But we're going to get something close to that. So I'm going to push this back a little more. And I think angle the foot down a little bit like that. Make sure we're on the ground, so it's just going through the ground here. Okay, then I'm going to grab the other foot and bring this forward, so it's starting to pull back. That's the heel ball on there. I'm going to just go ahead and zero this out for right now. That's the toe, up, down. And then the heel ball, we're going to switch that into a negative direction. Pull it down a little bit, and I think we'll go ahead and start rotating it a little bit like this. Alright, so we'll start off with that, and let's begin working our way up here to the hips. Okay, so this is actually picking up now, so we want to rotate it up. That is the Z rotation. So I'm going to rotate it up a little. So we'll just make it a -2. And it's also rotating forward. So let's go ahead and rotate it forward a little bit. Okay, and we had also shifted our character over a little bit. And I'm going to start reducing that down to about there. Okay, and let's start working our way up, and I'll start off with the chest here. So we want this opposing what's going on here with the hip. Okay, so in this case our arms are going to swing a little bit like this. So the shoulder's coming up over here, and it's also turning a little bit this way. Okay, as this arm is swinging forward, this one is swinging back. Let's go ahead and grab the shoulder and bring that back. Same thing with the clavicles. I'm going to move these back a little bit. And move this one forward. Rotate this forward. Okay, and this feels like it needs a little bit more drag. This is something I'll come back and address a little bit later. This should probably still be up here. I'll go ahead and put it in position here, and we'll probably come back and edit the previous pose. Okay. Alright, so I think that's about it for our pose here with the up pose. Let's go ahead and select all. Hit S on the keyboard, Come down here to frame 13 on the timeline, right mouse click, and we're going to copy all of those. And come down to frame 29 and paste that. Okay, and you should know this routine by now is of going through and just reversing everything out. So with the Z rotate, I'm going to take out that negative number. Okay, that switches that, and hit S on the keyboard. With the Y rotate, we're going to do the opposite here, so I'll add a negative, and then hit S on the keyboard. And let's switch the feed out, so I'm going to select this controller, come down here to 29 and copy, switch over to the other foot, come back down here and paste. Okay, and then let's just take these and remove the negative here and remove the negative on the Y axis, and that should put the foot in the correct position. Let's hit S on the keyboard and let's move back on down to frame 13, and we'll copy that controller, select the other one, back down here on frame 29, we want to paste that. Okay, and then just switch out this information, so we want a positive number here, and the rest looks good. We'll hit S on the keyboard. Okay, and we can just check those right now. Let's flip between 29 and 13. So that looks good. Alright, so let's come up here to the chest, and we're going to switch out the rotations here. So I'm just going to remove the negative there, and on the Z I'm going to add a negative. And we're going to hit S on the keyboard to record those. And let's start down this side here with the clavicle. We're going to copy and paste. Okay, come back down to 13. We're going to copy this one. Back down to 29. We're going to switch back over here and paste that information onto this clavicle. Okay, and just repeat that down the arm here, so copy, come over here and paste that. Same thing with the elbow. I'm going to grab that right now, copy it, come over here and paste. Alright, and we'll come back down to frame 13. Go back up to the shoulder and copy that. Down to 29, switch back over here and paste. Come back down to 13. We've got this selected now for the elbow. We're going to copy that. Come back down to 29. Select the opposite elbow and paste that. Alright, so I did just notice one thing. I forgot to switch this over here on frame 29. So we've got a negative number that we need to drop in here for the translate X. Let's go ahead and do that. Enter, and I'll hit S on the keyboard. Look at that now. So between frame 29 and 13. Okay, so we're seeing that shift now. Let's go ahead and save that, and I'm going to play this through right now. I'm going to go ahead and just select all and play this through. It's going to look very jerky right now because remember we've got our curve set up to be flat and stepped, so it's popping from each one of these poses without an in-between. So I'm seeing a little bit of drag happening on the arms. We're probably going to push that, and we'll add a little bit of flap to the foot. Come back and get the head motion, and so we have a little kind of jerking going on in here. It's with the chest rotation and the hips. We have some extra keyframes in there that we're going to have to delete. That's why we're seeing that. But I think overall this is looking good, and once we come back here and change our curves over to clamped, we can see what's going on and begin the process of cleaning up the excess keyframes and start the process of shot filing. So we'll do that in the next lesson.